Apple Vision Pro will ruin the lives of future children. What's up, guys? Today we are seeing the advent of children on technology way too much, which is kind of ironic because technically I'm a child on technology right now, but I mean like little kids with goggles strapped to their face and tablets and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's getting out of hand, guys. So we're gonna get to my thoughts on the Apple Vision Pros a little bit later in the video because it's very long-winded. So I want to get through a couple of other questions before we get to that one, starting with, is the Earth flat? So this is the age-old argument, guys. Is the Earth flat? And a lot of people obviously know that the answer is no, the Earth is not flat. And the thing is that if you listen to flat earthers, they all say the same exact thing. For example, how can someone be upside down on the Earth? If someone is in Australia, which is directly on the opposite side of the US, are they standing upside down? How does water stick to Earth? If you take a tennis ball and you soak it in water and you spin it really fast, all the water comes flying off. So the Earth is spinning way faster than a tennis ball, so how does all the water stick to the Earth? And a lot of times they claim that no one has ever actually seen the Earth and no one's ever observed the curvature of the Earth before, and they try to say that all the NASA pictures and space pictures are fake. And I had someone tell me, I'm not even joking, I had someone tell me in real life, I told them I had been in an airplane and I had seen the curvature of the Earth. I went really high up in an airplane and I saw the curve. They said that the reason why airplanes have two panes of windows is because in between the two panes is a screen that displays a fake curve of the Earth. Come on. So I have answers to all these questions, and one of the easiest answers is gravity. That can answer the first two questions. How can someone be upside down on the Earth? They're not. The Earth is a sphere floating in space. There is no top or bottom or left or right. That's like saying, where's the top of a soccer ball? There is no top. Where's the bottom of a soccer ball? There is no bottom. It's a sphere. You can't have a top and a bottom of a sphere. It's a sphere. All sides are equal. There's no top and no bottom, no left and no right. So since gravity is pulling everything in towards the center, it's pulling everything from each direction, each side of the sphere. Obviously circles and spheres don't have sides, but you know, just for argument's sake, every side is being pulled towards the center. So you can't be on the bottom of the Earth. That's not a thing. The bottom of the Earth is not a thing. Everything and everyone on Earth, no matter where you are on Earth, is being pulled towards the center. So people are not upside down on Earth, they're just on Earth. You can't be upside down on Earth. Everything is being pulled towards the center. There is no upside down. Everything is being pulled towards the center, and it's a sphere. There's no sides. Everything is being pulled towards the center. No one's upside down. Everyone is right side up because of gravity. Gravity can also explain the second one. If a tennis ball is soaked in water and you spin it around really fast, all the water comes flying off. So the Earth is spinning at like 100,000 miles per hour. How does all the oceans not fly off because the Earth is spinning so fast? So the thing that they don't account for is that the Earth is actually spinning incredibly slow due to relative mass. The thing is that since the Earth is so big, it's rotating incredibly fast, miles per hour fast. But since it's so big, it's actually rotating incredibly slow. The Earth rotates one full time in 24 hours. That's like if you took this tennis ball that's soaked in water and spun it so incredibly slow over a span of 24 hours. Do you think that the water is going to fly off the tennis ball? No. Because in order for its relative mass to spin at the same relative speed as the Earth, you would have to spin it so incredibly slow one time over 24-hour period. Obviously the water is not going to fly off. And again, the water stays on because of gravity. Everything is being pulled towards the center of all sides of the Earth. So the water is not going to fly off because number one, gravity, and number two, relative mass. The Earth is spinning very, very slow compared to how big it is. And finally, how would you cover up all the space pictures of Earth that we have? Out of all of the NASA astronauts and engineers and everyone who has been in space and has seen the pictures from space, you really think that NASA is gonna, number one, lie about this? What's the reason for them to lie about this? And number two, how are they going to make that many people lie for such a long time? It's the same thing with the moon landing. You can't have all those people lie for the last however many years, 60 years that they've been lying for. Like, I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. So obviously, no, the earth is not flat. It's pretty simple to understand, but the thing is that you can't really argue with those people. If you try to argue with them, I mean, they're not going to listen to you, so just don't even try, guys. This next question was asked by a YouTube commenter, and it is Amiliarde1234 on YouTube. Again, by the way, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll try to answer your question as honestly as I possibly can in a future video. Amiliarde asks, have you ever been in a fight, and if so, what happened? I've only ever been in one serious fight ever in my entire life, and that was when I was around 9 years old. Now I know 9 years old, it probably wasn't a crazy fight, but it really was the only actual physical fight that I've ever gotten in, fist fight kind of thing. Only one I've ever been in. Basically what happened is this guy was my friend. He was my buddy, we hung out all the time, but basically he was messing with my sister. So we were in my neighbor's front yard. My sister was sitting on an inner tube, you know, like one of those tubes that you put in a pool or go rafting in, like down rivers and stuff like that. She was sitting on one of those in the grass. And my buddy was holding on to another inner tube, and he was holding onto it and then jumping on top of her. And the first time she thought it was kind of funny until he did it the second time, and it actually kind of hurt. It hurt her. So she said, ow, that hurt, stop. He got up, he did it again. She said, stop, please stop. Did it again. So at that point, I intervened and I went, dude, quit. And I pushed him onto the ground. I'm like, stop jumping on top of my sister. You're hurting her. She's asking you to stop. So of course, he started trying to defend himself, and he's yelling at me saying that he's just having fun and she's joking. And I'm like, well, obviously she's not. And so I asked her, I'm like, hey, are you joking? Is he actually hurting you? And she's like, yeah, I want him to stop. So we started having an actual physical altercation. I hit him a couple of times. He hit me a couple of times. But at the end of it, I'm proud to say that I was victorious. He's the one who quit and ran home. My sister was protected, and I stopped hanging out with that kid, so I'd like to think that I did my job properly as a brother. But that's it. I mean, no other physical altercations, never been in any other fist fight other than that. That is the only one, but I'm glad to say that I'm 1-0. I have won one, never lost one. Yeah. All right, we are here. What are my thoughts on the Apple Vision Pros? So if you were just to look at them immediately, you would say, hey, that's pretty cool. Like, that's like Iron Man, you got your Jarvis and stuff like that, and you got all your diagnostics on the screen, and a TV over here and a TV over here, It's kind of cool. The problem with the Apple Vision Pros is eventually this is going to infiltrate into kids. And the thing is that the days of being bored as a kid are soon going to be over. As a kid, I mean, you would be on a road trip and you would just kind of have to look out the window and make up stuff in your own imagination. And, you got bored, and so you would make up a new game, or you would make up, make pretend, make believe. You would turn a cardboard box into a spaceship, a car, all kinds of different things. You would have to actually use your imagination and think outside of the box to stop being bored. You used to need to actually use your imagination and think in order to actually get the feeling of accomplishment. Like, hey, I did something cool and I did something fun today. Like I said, with the Apple Vision Pro, this is eventually going to be gone. I mean, kids are just going to have constant content being funneled into their head and no output ever. It's just constant content, and you don't have to use your imagination anymore. You don't have to make up games or go play outside. You just strap these goggles to your face, and that's your entertainment. And the thing is we are seeing this today. It's happening where little kids are swiping an imaginary phone in their sleep. And the thing is you think that all that's bad. Apple Vision Pro is going to make it 1,000 times worse. Instead of having the phone and the tablet just sitting next to you, now it's going to be strapped to your face. Eventually, this will just completely ruin a child's patience, a child's attention span, a child's ability to not get off of the technology. Eventually, they're just going to be locked in. I kind of have experience with this because I have a very addictive personality, and as a kid, I'm not even joking with you, my parents sold our TV because I would watch way too much TV. I would watch little kid TV shows and movies, and that's all I wanted to do. So my parents literally had to sell it in order to get me off the TV. They had to get rid of it entirely. I can completely attest to this, that if kids start getting their hands on these Apple Vision Pros, and it's just going to completely ruin their attention span. If all you ever have is input, just constant stimulation in your brain and no output, these kids are going to be very, very, very behind in person skills, people skills, their ability to talk to people, their ability to make friends, their ability to use their imagination to actually do things. that's all gonna eventually go away. Eventually that will lead to these kids just having no person skills, no people skills, and their ability to have normal human contact is going to be severely impacted and impaired because of having these goggles, just constant stimulation strapped to their flippin' face. And since these kids that grow up in the future generation are going to be so bad at person skills, there's going to be an epidemic of less girlfriends and less boyfriends and less marriages and less kids being born. The thing is that those kids, all they ever knew is their technology, their Apple Vision Pro, their everything that's just strapped to their face, all their content. That's exactly what they're going to do to their kids. And those kids are going to be subject to the exact same thing as their parents. If a kid never gets bored, a kid doesn't have to use his own imagination or her own imagination. Eventually, a cardboard box isn't going to be a rocket ship or a car. It's just going to be a cardboard box. A kid's not going to be capable of having fun unless they're watching some sort of content that's strapped to their face. They're watching Bluey, and they're watching SpongeBob, and they're watching YouTube, and they're watching Instagram, and it's just going to completely ruin their ability to be a normal human person. And again, I can say all this stuff because I was one of those kids, and I still sort of am. Everyone is addicted to something. And the problem is that all of these kids in the future generations, if they get these hands on all this Apple Vision Pros and all of this technology, they're going to be addicted to technology, and that's all they're going to know. Their human contact is going to be so low, and their ability to talk to people and make friends is going to be so low that we're just going to have an epidemic, guys. Parents, if you're watching this video, or people who are going to have kids, that want to have kids and they're, a teenager or whatever at my age, whenever you eventually do have kids, or like I said, if you have kids right now, limit the amount of technology that they're on. If you can limit the amount of technology that they're on and make them do things that use their imagination and make them think, they're going to be so much better off as people. They're going to be able to make friends. They're going to be able to meet potential partners when they get older for relationships and marriages, and they're going to be so much better. They're going to be able to get a job. They're going to be able to maybe even become an entrepreneur and make their own business because they're capable of critical thinking. So all of this just to say, parents and kids, if you're a teenager, stop being so addicted to your technology. Get off it once in a while. And this Apple Vision Pro thing can definitely be used for very much good, but it can also be used for a lot of bad. So make sure that you're limiting your amount of technological use to where you don't end up being a mindless robot that is incapable of talking to a girl or talking to a friend or talking to a job interviewer or anyone. Limit the amount of technology you're on, and you will be so much better off in life, I promise you guys. So, I know that one was kind of a tough one to hear, but I mean, people need to know it, so get it inside of your head. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, put a comment down below if you got any future questions for me. I'll try to answer them as honestly as I possibly can in a future video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.